Okay, good evening, everyone. This is David Cashman from SEB Housing. It's August 4th, and this is the lottery for the affordable units at Hanover, Westford Hills. We're doing this lottery the same way we did the information session for any households who attended that. So I have one household, possibly more, who will be joining on a conference call. And it looks like we're up to 47 households, or somewhere around 40 households on the YouTube live stream. So I'll be addressing both of you. Let me give you a little bit of background. Actually, before I go further, if anyone on the YouTube could just type a quick note confirming they can hear me, that would be great. Just want to make sure that that what I'm saying isn't getting lost. So if you can just confirm that. And then I'll tell you, yep, thank you, Felicia, appreciate it. Great. Okay, so you can hear me. So let me tell you a little bit about how many households applied, the waiting lists, how many applicants there were for each. I'll tell you a little bit about how I'm going to do the lottery drawing. And then if anyone has any questions before we start, I can address those. Actually, before we do anything, is there any household who does not, I repeat, who does not know their lottery application number? If you do know it, great. You don't need to tell me. And in fact, I don't want to know what it is. But if there's any household who does not know their lottery application number, please speak up and I will look it up for you. Great. Looks like everyone knows it. Okay. Well, if someone doesn't, chime up and I'll look it up. But otherwise, we'll go forward. So there are going to be 5 waiting lists generated from the lottery results. I have to do 2 lottery drawings. The first one is going to be households who indicated that they qualified for local preference. I believe there were 18 such households. Once I do that, we'll do a second drawing, which is the general lottery drawing. And that will be everyone, including the local preference households. In total, there were 111 completed or 111 applicants for this lottery. So everyone will be getting drawn and put on a waiting list. Now, the waiting list for this lottery are going to have to be approved. So I cannot promise them to you until the week of August 17th. Please write that down or just make a mental note of it. I know there's a lot of excitement about this lottery. People want to move forward. That's great. I promise I will get you the results as soon as I am able to, but it's not going to be, I can't promise it until the week of August 17th because some of it's out of my hands. So if I could please ask for your patience, not to be, calling SEB or emailing and asking about results next week because they're not going to know. Okay. We need to get that approval. So if you could please just give till the August 17th, I would really appreciate it. And I promise you at that time, I'll send you the results with explanations. I will also send a communication tonight just to give you a little bit of background information, just so you have that in writing. And I will reemphasize that point there. Let's talk about the waiting list. Okay, so there will eventually be 5 waiting lists. Please remember, the order that I'm going to draw these numbers out of the box does matter. Okay, it does matter, but it's not the final end-all, be-all that determines the waiting list because there are different priorities that we have to use to sort the results. Okay, so again, as a general principle, better to be drawn sooner rather than later in the lottery. But please do not think I'm drawn first, therefore I'm going to be number 1 on a waiting list. Or conversely, don't think I was drawn last, so I'm necessarily drawn last because everyone's mixed together. You don't know who's applying for what unit. You don't know if they have local preference. You don't know their household size. You really don't know any of those things. So you're not going to have the full picture until I send you those waiting lists. So please do keep that in mind. Let's see here. So again, there's going to be 2 drawings. It looks like everyone knows their lottery number. I know that we've said this already, but it's worth just repeating. And hopefully this is kind of old news at this point, but program eligibility for the lottery, which is what we've been doing, working, with SEB, is different than lease eligibility. We do not screen you for lease eligibility. We don't know, we don't ask some of those questions that the leasing office will likely ask, or, we don't look into the factors that they might look into, things like credit or criminal history or some of those other things that leasing offices do look at. So please do keep that in mind. When we do send you the waiting lists, we will give you the contact for the leasing office. We will give your contacts to them, and you can then be in touch about moving forward in the next step in this process, which is to apply for a lease, and then if eligible, select your unit and set the move-in date. So, does anyone have any questions before we do the lottery drawing? I'm going to start with the 18, I think it was, local preference households. I will be putting them in the lottery box. I'll pull them out one by one and hold them up as I go. After we do the local preference drawing, then I will put those households in with all the other households and do the general drawing, and that will be all 111. So it is going to take a little bit of time because I'm working here by myself, and I got to pick them all out and make sure I keep very close track of them so I can sort them accurately later. But I'll do my best to do it clearly and in the most efficient way I can. Doesn't look like anyone's got any questions. So without further ado, if you think of something later, after we've done the drawing, you can certainly ask. Altogether, Elizabeth, there are, sorry, I should know this off the top of my head. I want to say it's 20 total, 32, 30, 35. 35 total apartments. Oh, I'm sorry. You know what? Right at the beginning, I told you I was going to tell you the waiting list. So there are going to be 5 waiting lists eventually generated from this lottery drawing. Again, when I send you those results on the 17th, those will be broken down by bedroom size in the order that households will be able to move forward. So that's really going to give you that information about what to expect next. But just to give you kind of a sense, so in total, 15 one-bedroom units at the development in this program. 6 of them are designated as local preference. There are 61 applicants on that list, 8 identified as local preference. There's also a one-bedroom waiting list. That's the general pool. That's everyone. That's 9 units, 61 applicants total. Again, non-local preference households go on the local list and vice versa. It's sort of confusing, doesn't really make sense at first blush, but that's how it works. Everyone goes on both lists. It's just that on the local list, households who are local preference might get a priority, whereas on the general list, they don't. But don't be confused. Sometimes households wonder, why is this general household on the local list or vice versa? Everyone's on both lists, okay? It's not a mistake. Okay, there's also going to be a 2-bedroom waiting list. There's going to be a local priority applied on that list for the lottery. 15 units, 38 applicants. Preference will be given to households who are type 3 or type 2. There were 11 type 3 households, 24 type 2 households, and 3 type 1 households. 3 households indicated they qualified for local preference. There will also be a 2-bedroom unit disabled accessible waiting list. That's 2 units, 1 applicant only. And finally, a 3-bedroom waiting list. Local priority will be applied. 4 units, 32 applicants. 31 applicants were type 3, 1 was type 2, and 7 have local preference. Don't worry if you didn't memorize that or write it down. It'll be part of the materials that I send to you after the lottery, and I'll get those to you shortly. Okay, let's do the lottery drawing. So again, we're going to do the local preference drawing first. Here are my local preference households. I will put them in the box, shake it up. Just going to use my hand here to kind of, sorry, I'm out of screen a little bit. Just try and sort it up a little bit better, make sure that I get a good sort here. Okay, first household drawn, A050. Next one, A037. A110. A003. A022. A091. A040. A029. A065. A033. A064. A098. A097. A051. Sophia, I see your question. Let me just draw these last couple of numbers and then I'll take a look. A021. A094. A099. A010. Okay. That was the local preference drawing. Again, I'll hold it up real quick in case you want to take a look if you missed something. Let me see. So, Sophia, Sophia, okay, I'm just looking in the database to see if I can find you. And is it okay, Sophia? I'm not seeing you show up anywhere. You need a lottery application number. You needed to apply to get in. I'm not sure exactly what your circumstances were, but let's do this since I know there's a lot of people tuning in who are anxious to see the results. I'm going to move forward with the next drawing, and then once this is done, I'll stay on for a minute and we can see if we can figure out what's going on. But again, I'm not seeing your number anywhere, and I don't know if you applied or if you got a lottery number. But again, hang out if you don't mind, and once this drawing is done, I'd be happy to see if I can help you figure out what may have happened, okay? All right, so we're going to do the general drawing now. So again, this is all 111 households. This is going to take, obviously, a little bit of time. Give me a sec here. I just want to see if I can shuffle these up before I put them in the box. And then I will shuffle them some more. Sorry, I know you can't see. My table's just a little low, but I am just trying to sort up the all the numbers. I'm going to put them in the box. You just see, I don't know anyone's number. I'm just moving them around. I'll put the lid back on, shake it again, and then we'll do the drawing. One moment here, we'll get started. Okay. Okay, here's going to be the general drawing. All right. First number, A059. Sorry. A084. A044. A014. A025. Folks, I see there are a couple questions coming in. I'm going to just do the drawing. Actually, let me pick this number. A039. A039. Okay, so Sophia, if you want to hang out after, I can see if I can figure this out with you. Felicia, this drawing means that you've been deemed eligible for the lottery based on what you've submitted at this point. Has nothing to do with lease eligibility, and there are so it means you've been deemed eligible for the lottery based on what you've submitted. That's just one step in the process, not the final step. Lindsay, if you were in the local drawing, yes, you'll be picked again. Will current residents know which units are affordable units, Marianne? No, they won't. Okay. Units are interspersed and not evident from the exterior. Next number, A050. A050. Next number, A047. A047. Next number, A016, A016. A104, A104. A085, A085. A007, A007. A076, A076. A111, A111. A031, A031. A035, A035. A015, A015. A038, A038. A082, A082. I see there's some questions coming in, folks. I'm going to just hold off on answering those until we've done the full drawing. And if you can just hold off on even typing them in until we're done, that would be helpful to me. Thank you. A.008, A.008. A.026, A.026. A.003, A105, A090, A034, A034, A060, A060, A040, A040, A065, A065. And folks, I'm drawing everyone who was in the lottery, everyone who is who we deemed eligible for the lottery up to this point will have a position on a waiting list. So I am drawing all 111 right now. Currently, I'm at 28. A080, A080. A036. A096. A088. A088. A004, A099, A017, A071, A051, A051. All right, that is the 37th. We're up through 37, okay? Moving right along here. All right, next household. This is going to be the 38th household pick. A013, A013, A027, A108, A033, A056, A024, A091, A018, A107, A107, A070. Folks, again, I will promise once we're done, I'll go back through and answer any questions folks have. It'll be easier for me to track if you kind of wait to ask them until we're done, so they don't get pushed off my screen, but I will come back and answer them. A019, A019. That was the 48th household called. Okay, number 49, A005, A005. Next, A042, A042. A106, A106. A087, A087. All right, I don't know if you can see that. There you go. Next is A103, A103. This up a little bit. Okay, this is going to be the 54th household. A066, A066. A079, A079. A030, A030. A010, A010. A054, A054. A052, A052. A032. That was number 60. A little more than halfway now. A001. A110. A110. A077. A077. A074. A074. A006. A023. A023. A094. A094. A086. A086. That was the 68th household drawn. A083. A083. A067. A067. A021. A021. A058. A058. A068. A092. A092. Okay, we are 2/3 of the way. That was the 74th household called. We're 2/3 of the way here. Next household will be the 75th household drawn in the lottery. A109. A109. A069. A089. A098. A055. A011. A011. A053. A081. A081. A102. That's the 83rd household drawn, folks. A102. That was number 83 drawn. Next household, A029. A029. A012. A095. A049. A049. Next household, A075. A075. A046, A046, A037, A037, A002, A002, A020, A020, A078, A078, A057, A022, A022, A062, A062, A072, that was the 97th household drawn. Okay, A064, A064, A041, A041, A028, A028, A063, that was 101. Sorry, A063 was the 101st household drawn, okay? A045, A100, A100, A061, A061, A043, A097, A097, A009, A009, A073, A048, A048, and then two more left, A093, and last but not least is A101, A101. All right, that is the lottery drawing, folks, all 111 numbers. So let me, one sec, those safe spot here. Okay, so again, folks, I think I saw off to the side, folks are talking about it, but yes, you won't know exactly what this means until the 17th. Sorry if that's a little bit anticlimactic, but we need to sort the lottery results to create the waiting list. As you now know, lots of households are mixed in, different size households, some local preference, some not. Some households who need a disabled unit, some don't. Some households applied for a 1-bedroom, some applied for a 2-bedroom, some applied for a 3-bedroom, some applied for some variation of those different three. And your lottery application number that we sent to you before the lottery, it would have told you, what household type you were, what your number was, lottery number, I mean, what house bedroom sizes you applied for, and what you were eligible for. So for all bedroom sizes that you were eligible for, you will be on those waiting lists. I can't promise you exactly where you'll be on those waiting lists, but you'll be somewhere on there, okay? So there's going to be a lot of households on the various waiting lists. And again, I will send you a document shortly that just gives you some background on what the different waiting lists will look like. Again, I'm not sending you the actual waiting list until the 17th, but in just sort of your own curiosity, if you want to know, I will send that to you shortly, just so you have some sense of what the waiting lists will look like. Okay, I'm going to try and scroll back up and see the questions that I missed while I was doing the drawing. Fred, I think the last one I missed, Fred Westbury, will you get picked again to be put on multiple waiting lists? So Fred, I don't know if you were in the local drawing, but if you were, you get picked in both drawings. You'll be on any waiting list that you were eligible for the lottery. So if you applied for 1 and 2 bedroom and you were eligible for both, then you'll be on both. If you're only eligible for 1 bedroom, you'll only be on the 1 bedroom list. Lindsay, does it give a person a better chance if their number is picked twice? So you may be picked twice if you were a local preference household. Really what that means is that for certain of the units where there is a local preference, you'll get priority as compared to similarly situated households who are not local preference. That's all it means. If it's a waiting list that doesn't have local preference, you won't get priority as compared to similarly situated households. If you're curious how the waiting lists are created, I invite you to relook at the information packet, specifically page 12, and you can see exactly how we set those up. It's not going to tell you who's on what list, obviously, but if you are curious, kind of like how does the sausage get made, how do they create these waiting lists, go look at the information packet, which I assume you have. If not, it's on our website. Page 12, it'll show you exactly how the waiting lists are created and how they're going to be tiered, okay? And that'll sort of give you some sense of how these things get set up. How many are they going to call, James? Okay, I think you saw we did 111. If your number is called, do you have an official spot? If your number is called, everyone that's in the lottery, James, is going to have a position on a waiting list for a unit size that they were eligible for. So if you were eligible for a 1-bedroom size unit only, you'll have a spot on the 1-bedroom list. Actually, there are 2 1-bedroom lists, so you'll have a spot on both. If you're eligible for the 2-bedroom apartments, you'll be on that list. Okay. Kai, what number did the waiting list being at? I'm confused. I'm not sure if someone answered your question. Let me just scroll through here. Felicia, correct, a lot of us may be on the waiting list. Yep, there's going to be a lot of people on the waiting list. Again, I'll send you something so you have a sense of exactly what those are, and I'll just repeat it right now. On the 1-bedroom list, there will be 61 applicants. On the 2-bedroom list, there will be 38 applicants. On the 3-bedroom list, there will be 32 applicants. Who was the last person to get in before the waiting list began? So Kai, I'm looking at your question. What I'm trying to ask is, who was the last person to get in before the waiting list began? Okay, we haven't created the waiting list yet. Okay, so we did the drawing, and then I will create the waiting lists. And then when they're approved, I can send them to you by the 17th of August. And those will be according to your lottery application number, in order top to bottom, that you're ranked according to the preferences and priorities. Okay. So when you get that, you'll be able to see, here's my number, here's the waiting list I'm on, here's the position I'm in. And that will let you know, okay, I'm number 10, there are 9 households ahead of me, for example. First ones are on the waiting list for the second group. Okay, James, your question, the first ones are on the waiting list. What about the second group that's being called? I'm not sure exactly what you mean by the first ones and the second ones. The first ones are local preference households. The second drawing I did was everyone, okay? But again, everyone's going to be on the waiting list. The local preference drawing establishes the order on some of the local preference lists among the local preference households. But again, everyone's going to have a position on a waiting list, which you will get by the 17th. Elizabeth had a statement about credit. Yes, that's true. As I said, I don't know what the credit screening criteria is exactly at this property, but insofar as we don't do a lease application screening, we SEB, that's right. And, typically credit is something that a leasing office would look into in determining whether you're lease eligible. What score does your credit need to be? Elizabeth says she doesn't know. I also don't know. If you pass the first round, you should be good. I'm not sure what you mean by pass the first round, James. Again, we'll create the waiting list. You get them on the 17th, and then you have to apply for a lease. Separate process, okay? So this is step one in the process. Step two is apply for a lease. And again, we haven't deemed you lease eligible. We haven't looked at your credit. We haven't looked at your quarry, some of those other things that leasing offices might look at. So that will be part of that second step. Adam, could you show all the called numbers? I don't know if you're going to be able to find it. Just looking right here. I don't know if this helps you. I can see how many households who want to know where they were called. If it's a bunch of them, then what I'll probably do is I can email it to you. That may be the easiest thing. If it's just a few people, I can probably look through and find where you got called. But again, if it's going to be a bunch of people who want to know, it's probably fastest and best for everyone if I email you basically this, so you can take your time and look at it. So let's just see how many people don't know where they were called, and then I can figure out the best way to address that. Amber. Alicia, how long is the list? James, how long are the waiting lists? Again, we got to create the waiting list. 61 households will be on the one-bedroom units waiting list. 38 households will be on the two-bedroom unit waiting list. 32 households will be on the three-bedroom waiting list. Alicia, how long will we have to wait? You got to wait till the August 17th to get the waiting list from us. Then you have to apply with the leasing office. Jacqueline, what does the dot signify? Is it different than a number without a dot? No, if I forgot to say a dot once, I'm sorry. The dot doesn't mean anything. Jillian Crank, I don't know mine. Let me see if I can find it. Jillian, A014. Jillian is A014. Okay, Todd, how many one bedrooms are local preference and how many are not? And can you hold up the results again? There are 6 local preference one bedroom units and 9 one bedroom non-local preference units. Okay, if you couldn't see it there, tell me your number and I will look up where you were called. That was Todd. Erica, if we got picked on the general, is it guaranteed to have a spot? Everyone's going to have a spot on the waiting list. Everyone. For all waiting lists, they were eligible. Kai, how many apartments are there for one bedroom, two bedroom, 3? There are total 15 one bedrooms, 15 two bedrooms, 17 two bedrooms and 4 3 bedrooms. That's also in the information packet. There's a whole table so you don't have to memorize it. James, so if your name was called and you're on the waiting list, you need to reapply again. No, you don't have to reapply with SEB. There's no reapplying. There may be, there is applying with the leasing office to determine if you're lease eligible. So distinguished program eligibility with SEB and lease eligibility. We have not deemed you lease eligible. That's a separate process with the leasing office. What does the dot signify, Jacqueline? Nothing. That's just random, kind of how we create lottery numbers. It's always a dot number. So don't give the dot any mind. Okay, so your next question, I think that answers that. The dot doesn't. Don't worry about it. Erica, is it 4 spots for 3 bedrooms? There are 4 3-bedroom units. There are 32 applicants. Erica, so 4 3-bedroom units, 32 applicants. So that waiting list will have 32 people on it. Okay, James, I think that answers your question. Marianne, if you were picked early, does that help your position on a list, Marianne? Well, it certainly helps to be picked earlier rather than later. Doesn't tell you the whole story. Again, invite you to look at the info pack, page 12, so you can see exactly how the waiting lists are ordered. That will give you an idea of how this gets put together, Marianne. But in short, for the bigger size units, especially, your household type matters. If you're a type 1 household applying for a 2-bedroom unit, you're going to be skipped over by all bigger, type 2 and type 3 households. And it doesn't matter where you got picked and where they got picked. They're going to skip you on the 2-bedroom list. For the 1-bedroom list, it doesn't matter. You'll have equal priority. So look at those waiting lists on page 12 of the info pack. You'll see exactly how they're ordered. But again, as a general proposition, getting picked earlier is better than later. Okay, Felicia, if you're on a list, can you apply without going through SEB housing? Okay, again, I have to make the waiting list. I think some people receive conditional approvals. Those people will be getting another notice from us. If you're one of those, please look at the notice we send you. You'll get it tomorrow. Once a household is fully approved, the next step is with the leasing office. Shauna Coleman, how many 2-bedrooms are available? 17. Egypt Reps, I would like to know my number as well if you can email it. Egypt, maybe I can just say it right now. If you don't mind, it'll be quicker. I don't have anyone by the last name Raps. I'm assuming that's maybe a different name. Is it Egypt, last name starting with D? Egypt, last name starting with D. Your number is A.004. If that's not you, let me know. I'll find it. But Egypt D, A.004. Laura Gomez, I would like to know my number as well if you can email it. Okay, again, folks, just in the interest, there's a lot of households. Hold on. Laura, A.040. A.040. Okay, I'm sorry. So you are asking. Yep, Jacqueline, A.070 is A070. Okay, how many 1-bedroom units? There are 15 total, 61 applicants. Elizabeth, I see your question. This lottery is a little different. We need some further approvals. There's been some sort of extenuating circumstances due to COVID. So I hear you. That's true. This lottery is just a little different, but I can assure you we'll get it to you as soon as we can. If we got picked on the lottery, we have to wait until the 17th to send additional docs. If you were a conditional approval, Erica, you'll get a notice. You should respond to that. You should submit them ASAP. Don't wait. Okay. I think I see a couple households who are asking where they were picked. Can't search this. Let me see if I can just find A040 and A004 quickly. A040 was 27th. A004 was 33rd in the general. A040 was 7th in the local. Doesn't appear A004 was in the local. Okay, A091. And again, if there's a bunch of households who, because I know that this isn't helpful for everyone if I'm sort of searching through here. So let me just see how many households are asking, and I may end up just emailing it to you. Kamal, I see you, A091. You were number 6 in the local. Number 44 in the general, A091. A032. I'll tell you what, folks. I think it's just going to be best. I'm gonna just type this up and I'll email it to you, because trying to find it is not efficient. I'm sure folks are getting bored waiting. So I'll type it up. I'll email it to you, and that way you can just take a look at it. I'll get that to you shortly. Again, just please don't confuse. This is not the waiting list. Okay, I repeat, this is not the waiting list. This is not the waiting list. Okay. It's just the order that I drew them in the lottery. It's better to be picked sooner rather than later, but it is by no means the final waiting list. So please do not, at some point in the future, send this to SEB and say, here I am, I'm number 1 on this, or I'm number 10. That means I'm number 10, because it's not what it means, okay? I will send it to you, but please just make sure you make that distinction. Okay, so everyone who's asking where they were, I'll send it to you. Prince, what does the results do? Well, we'll order these. We'll order the results onto the waiting list, giving proper priorities to household size, local preference, and what bedroom size you applied for. And you'll get those by the 17th, and those will be the actual order that you'll get to move forward. Okay. Again, this is not going to tell you that. This is not going to tell you that, because you don't know. A.059 was the first household picked. Everyone behind them doesn't know who A059 is. They don't know what bedroom size they applied for. They don't know if they have local preference. They don't know any of those things. I don't know any of those things right now. Okay. So you got to wait for the waiting list. I appreciate your patience, and I'll get it to you as soon as we can, but that will tell you the order that households are going to be getting to move forward. Kai shows. Okay, I think you're answering someone's question. Shows you're standing on whether you got in and where you are on the waiting list, if not. Okay. I think you're answering Prince's question, but maybe I'll just jump in here that, again, these are just the order that households were drawn in the lottery. There's the local and the general. I'll order these onto the waiting list. You'll get those in about a little over a week. And that will be the order that households get to move forward to step 2, applying for a lease. Why is it better to be picked sooner on this list if it's not the waiting list, Jacqueline? Well, being picked sooner, it's still as between 2 households that are equally situated. Let's say you have 2 type 2 households who applied for a 2-bedroom unit. So they're both type 2, so they're equal there. Let's say they're both local preference, so they're equal there. Well, if one of the households gets picked 10 spots before the other, they're going to be ahead of them on the waiting list. So it is better, but conversely, a type 1 household applies for a 2-bedroom unit and gets picked before a type 2 household. The type 2 household is going to skip over them on the waiting list because of priorities. So being picked, the type 1 household getting picked earlier doesn't tell you the whole story. So it's, relative to similarly situated households, the order that you're picked in the lottery does matter, okay? Relative to similarly situated households. Erica, after the 17th, how long does it take to process if we get a call from the leasing office? Hard to say. It depends. It depends exactly. They may start with one waiting list and try and fill those units, and then they might move to the next waiting list, and then the one after that, maybe they'll start with all three. I don't know exactly how many households they're going to invite at one time. I don't know what the sort of rate of, households not moving forward is going to be. It does happen that households don't move forward for a variety of reasons. So I can't tell you exactly how long it's going to take because there's kind of too many factors that have yet to play out. But I wouldn't, it depends where you are on the waiting list. So there's too many variables for me to give you any kind of meaningful answer right now. I think the best I can say is when you see the waiting list, you'll know where you are. And that will give you some idea of, okay, when they get to my waiting list, here's where I'm going to be invited relative to everywhere else. And that's probably the best kind of estimate that you can get, but we're not there yet. Felicia, if we don't get approved, can we just apply for the regular apartments? You can apply for the regular apartments there's certainly no prohibition against that. I assume they'll look at credit there too, though. So I don't know if it's going to be different. So just keep that in mind. Okay. I think I've actually gotten through all the questions. Any questions I've missed? Any questions I've missed? So again, I will email. Virtually everyone has an email. I will reach out to everyone. If you don't have an email, I'll get in touch with you by another means. I will send you some of the information that we've talked about, what the different waiting lists are, how many people are on each. Again, not the actual waiting list, just so you know kind of what they may look like. And a little bit of information about moving forward. But again, you won't get the waiting list for about a week and a half here. And so please just be patient during that time. Let me see here.
Hi, I have a question.
Yeah.
So when I registered for the lottery, I got an email saying that you have applied for a one-person household, and you're not eligible to occupy a 2-bedroom.
Right.
3-bedroom. Does that hold true?
Yeah, so the question for people on YouTube from the caller is if it's a one-person household applying for a 2 or 3-bedroom unit, they were told that they wouldn't be eligible. And unfortunately, the program administrator for this property, which is Mass Housing, does have that rule that says that smaller household types, like a type 1 household with one person, can't live in a 2-bedroom or 3-bedroom unit, and a household with 2 people can't live in a 3-bedroom unit unless an extra bedroom is required as a medical necessity. So barring that rule does apply. We don't really like it. We don't really agree with it, but it's the one we have to live with.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Erica, right. You cannot apply with the leasing office, so I'm not going to send their information right now. I don't want anyone getting confused. So please don't reach out to the leasing office right now because they don't even have the waiting lists. They're not going to really know what to tell you. Please be patient and wait to hear from us. When we send you the waiting list, we'll send instructions on moving forward with the leasing office, but nobody's contacting the leasing office right now, okay? Any other questions? This is a Hanover property, Jacqueline. I don't know off the top of my head who the leasing agent is. I know it's Hanover, but I can't tell you exactly who the agent is. Yep, Hanover. Any other questions? You got it, Tina. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you, everyone. I know it sort of takes a while, so thanks for being patient. Thanks for being patient on the waiting list. Oh, yep. Sure, go ahead.
Yes. How do we know who gets the townhouse? Is it the person that gets picked first or the 3-bedroom?
So, sorry, your question is who's going to get the townhouse?
Yes. Is it the person that gets picked first or the 3-bedroom? Or?
Okay, so when I send you the waiting list, they'll be ordered by bedroom size. So there'll be a 3-bedroom waiting list, right? The first person on that list is going to get to choose from any of the 4 3-bedroom units. So that first person, if they want the townhome, I assume, they could choose that, but maybe they don't, right? Let's just say that person says, nah, I'm not interested in the townhome, and they pick one of the other 3 units. Well, then the next person could choose the townhome if they wanted to. Does that make sense? Does that answer your question?
Yes,
Okay, good.
Yes.
Is there any other Hanover properties holding a lottery? Not right this moment, Elizabeth. There's one going to be one in Medford in the next couple months, but I don't know exactly when just yet. But I don't think it's 50%. I think it's 80%. Any other questions? Happy to take as many as people have. Again, I will email or get in touch with everyone shortly with some more information. I'll send you the lottery results just so you have it, and then you'll get the waiting lists in about a week and a half. Jacqueline, go to our website. Yep, you can see other lotteries. We're always posting stuff there, so check out our website, www.sebhousing.com. We've got other lotteries listed. We've got other properties that may just be in a first come, first served. In fact, I know there are some, so I invite you to go to our website and look at those, and you'll see some other opportunities if you're so interested. All right. I think that may be the end of the questions. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in. And I will be in touch, about next steps and moving forward. So have a great night, and thanks again. All right. Bye-bye. Goodbye to the households on the call.